What's good, Cornertalks family? It's your boy Cheese. Today, episode 9 of the podcast. We got a good amount of stuff going on. We're going to be talking about today. We got the NFL playoff, AFC, NFC championship game, NBA stuff here and there, trade. That's going to be happening pretty soon. Then we got maybe MLB we'll talk about. Then we're going to talk about the government a little bit. And then after that, we'll maybe talk about, everyday life stuff and my life advice for younger generation. So, first up, let's talk about the AFC NFC championship game. So, the Commanders versus Eagles. Let's start with that first. The Eagles beat the Commanders 55-23. I was kind of shocked on this because the Commanders' defense was doing really good the whole playoff, and then they just let Eagles score 55 on them. It was strange. And on the other side, the Eagles' offense weren't playing this good from the other playoff games, and that game they just went off. So it flipped. It's very interesting how it flipped. Now, what the Commanders made a mistake on was their offense. If I can remember the game, the offense they weren't running the ball as much as they should have. I know the Eagles' defense are pretty good when it comes to the run, but they could have ran a little bit different options here and there. The throwing wasn't correctly, called. The plays were just the same plays over and over again, and the Eagles knew what was up. Now, as for the defensive side of the ball for the Commanders, it was just, I know Barkley's really good, but come on. Bobby Wagner missed that tackle, and he just ran all the way. It's a lot of mistakes on the Commanders' defense. I'll say this, I give them a lot of credit to getting this far because the last time they went to the NFC Championship game was in 1991. Gotta give it to them. But this game, I would say that Eagles were a better team. Overall, the Commanders should have made better decisions when, making their calls. But, it's a good game. Well, you can say it's a good game, but technically it's not because they lost 55-23. But you can see they had some heart from getting this far. I'll say that. Now, this one is the big game that everyone wants to talk about. The AFC championship game versus the Bills and the Chiefs. This one, oh my god, I was really angry on this one. Alright. We'll talk about each and every play if I can remember. I'll remember 2 plays actually. The other one I can't remember. But you can say it's the ref's fault, you can say the Chiefs' fault, you can say the Bills' fault. To be honest, the refs did really good for the most part, except for one of the plays. This one was the worst, which is when Josh Allen was trying to go over the first down line, and clearly the replay shows him and the ball were over the first down line. And it doesn't make any sense how that was a turnover. That's definitely on the ref. They wanted to have the Chiefs win the game. It literally showed Josh Allen past the first down with the ball. And it's just, what? So, the Chiefs got it back. They ended up taking the lead. The Bills were up by 1 point. They could have scored a touchdown and pretty much win the game, more likely. That was a really, really, really bad call. Now, the defense of the Bills did play pretty good, I would say. Much different than I was watching them in the past. Offense, I don't know how they were doing it. The Chiefs' offense were just, wow. They never put this many points up. No, they never put this many points up. So pretty much, like I said, Chiefs won 32-29. Mistakes on the Bills, I would say as well, was the attempts, so 2-point attempts, kick a field goal at least, they could have maybe tied the game or had a lead and won the game. The one that's very, very major was when it was fourth down. Josh Allen was pretty much trying to run away from his life. He threw the ball, and the wide receiver couldn't catch it. So this is his arm. The ball went right here. So it went right here, and he couldn't even catch the ball. Like, yo, you're an NFL player. How do you not see the ball coming? That could have been a catch, and that should have been a catch. That was a big mistake on that Bills player. There were some, plays here and there. The Bills' defense was one of the problems of this game. I think they should have done better. It's just like the Commanders. The Commanders and the Bills' defense did really, really good until it came to the championship game. I don't know why. Were they getting nervous or something? I have no idea. But yeah, this game was very, 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 very talked about the last couple of days. I really think that the refs, for real, I think they for real wanted the Chiefs to win, 100%. Because why else? It just doesn't make any sense why that replay really hurt the Bills. As a Jets fan, I feel bad for the Bills because, playoffs and not winning a championship and all this stuff. And I was rooting for them as a Jets fan. The reason why I was rooting for them because I'm sick and tired of the Chiefs. They should have never gotten this far in the playoffs. No. And I in my gut, I'm like, yo, they're gonna make this Super Bowl. Watch, they're gonna make it. Cause the NFL loves them. Taylor Swift is part of that, so that helps. They love Patrick Mahomes. But in my mind, I was like, nah, they're not that good, and they're not that good. Offense isn't one of the best. Defense is okay. But the offense is not even what other teams' offense are. So you just tell the ref, which is helping the Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes has his ways of, getting the ref to go on his side. But okay, it happened. Good acting. But, come on. But now we're going to have the Super Bowl with the Eagles and the Chiefs again. There's really nothing to talk about with that yet. But I see that the Eagles want their revenge on the Chiefs. As you know, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I think, 2 years ago. If I'm correct, maybe 3. And I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles. As much as I didn't want both of them to come back to the Super Bowl, I'm going to root for the Eagles. I got family and friends who root for the Eagles, so I got to do that. Plus, I do not like the Chiefs. But, yeah, that's it for the football playoff. Now, other football stuff, as other teams been doing, their off-season moves, were a couple of coaching hiring, a couple of retires, So let's talk about that right now. We pull it up. So we got Mike McCarthy. So Mike McCarthy is pretty much not getting a head coaching job at all. It sounds like he's gonna be taking the entire season off and wait for the 2026 head coach cycle. If anything's open, which I think there will, because some of these coaches are still in their contract and they haven't really done nothing. So I think someone will hire Mike McCarthy. He's a really good coach. I'm just shocked that nobody has hired him. It's very interesting. But we'll see. I thought the Saints were going to hire him because he had, I think he started a career as coaching in the Saints. I forgot which position. But I was shocked they're not going to hire him, it sounds like. It sounds like the Saints may actually hire, what's his name? Let me check him. What's his name? Kellen Moore. So Kellen Moore, the guys may or may not know, Kellen Moore was a He played in the NFL a little bit. I think like rarely, nothing. But in college, he was very, very well known at Boise State. He got them, I think, in conference championships and bowl games. Really, really good quarterback. I think he's one of the best Boise State quarterbacks of all time. But I remember playing NCAA football, and I remember seeing him in the cover, and I started watching his highlights. He was good. But it sounded like the Saints may hire Kellen Moore. He was a coordinator for the Cowboys at one point, I remember, and then recently with the Eagles. So it sounds like the Saints may hire Kellen Moore as their next head coach. How do I feel about this? I think it's not bad. I mean, he does have a lot of experience under his belt. It's not like he's completely new into like coaching, but this is his first time as a head coach. So we just gotta wait and see. I'm not really 100% sure if this is a correct move, but I feel like it's not that bad a move. In my opinion, I would have hired Mike McCarthy, but I think the Saints don't feel like they're a playoff team right now, which I think they are. They just need a better coach because they started out really good at the beginning of the season. But just gotta wait and see if maybe Kellen Moore can bring the Saints to the playoffs. Now, any other move that happened? Uh, hmm. What other option? Let's see. Ben Johnson introduced as the head coach for the Bears. Good press conference of that. Um, Nothing really big about that press conference. He just told Caleb Williams we're gonna work together. This and that. Pretty basic press conference for the Bears of Ben Johnson. Now, as for the Jets press conference of their new head coach, Glenn, um, as a Jets fan, I feel like this is really, really different. Now, you can say, oh, the same head coach because, they hired defensive coordinator like Robert Saleh, and he said the same thing. No. What Robert Saleh did was all gas, no brakes, but it sounded like he had no, like, vocals in his voice. He didn't. Now, Aaron Glenn, he had the confidence, the New York swagger. He had that, I'm not messing around with you type of swag. And he literally was saying, we're the F in Jets, or I think he said SH, as you know, he's close to some verbal curse words in it, but you can tell he's not playing around. Even when he talked to the media right after the press conference, he said, why are you asking me that question? Like, he knows how the New York media is. And the thing about him is that, like I said in the last podcast, is that he's a former New York Jet. He played with the New York Jet from 1992 to 2000 or 1994 to 2001, something like that. I know from the 90s, mid 90s to the early 2000s, he played for the Jets. He was drafted first round, 12th overall by the team. He was their best corner. Sadly, they had that expansion draft that kind of ruined it for them to keep him, but he saw the ups and downs as a player. He talked to Bill Parcells every day, since he retired and all, and he just even the last time the Jets had an opening before they hired Robert Saleh, he wanted that job, but he knew that he needed a little bit more experience, more under his belt, and after the last couple of seasons with the Lions, he showed the Jets, hey, I want to take it. And he's the type of coach that you don't really say that I really want to take this job. I would really want to come here. Out of the 5 teams, I really want to come here. You don't ever see coaches who say that. And he's honestly a really good hire. Now, you can say this right now and be like, well, we don't know how he's going to be when the season starts. He might be bad. Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, but something about him is different. It's different. He even said, this is not all about Aaron Rodgers. This is about the New York Jets. We're going to put the right players on the field and get the job done pretty much. That's simple. Like, he seems like that's why a lot of players, like, I don't know him. I never met him. But from what I'm seeing, what I hear from him, and it just seems like he's such a genuine person. Like, he's such a person who actually loves football, who loves his players, who wants his players to do well. And he's just a really good human being. Like, maybe behind the scenes not, but I could just tell, like, he's a really good human being, and he really loves the game and wants to improve this Jets franchise on a whole new level and stay consistent, like he said. But I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. Now, for the GM that they hired, his name is Aaron too, I think. I'm not sure what his name was, but I don't know a whole lot about him. I don't know. I heard he's pretty good. He's the one that helped the Broncos, get back on their feet. Stayed with the Broncos since 2012, right? Like right after they won the Super Bowl, they stayed with him for the whole career of him being the assistant manager. He moved up the rankings, and I'm not sure about him yet. He seems like a very chill, humble, will listen to everyone's opinion type of guy. Very professional, only 39 years old. He's 10 years old as me. I'm 28, or 11. But he seems very professional for his age. Seems like he really wants to, help this organization. We'll just wait and see. But he seems like a pretty good hire. We just gotta wait and see. Now, for the Jets coaching tree, behind Aaron Glenn, I'm not really sure who they're gonna hire. It sounds like they're gonna hire some experienced, some non-experienced coaches. We just gotta wait and see for that. Now, Aaron Rodgers, are the Jets going to bring back Aaron Rodgers? I am not completely sure about that. It sounds like it's up in the air right now, but it sounds like Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Glenn want each other, which is awesome. I do think that the Jets should bring him back. As much as Aaron Glenn wants to start his head coaching in a different direction, but I think he wants him back. I do think that bringing Aaron Rodgers is going to help him start off really good. Because there's other quarterbacks in free agencies in the draft, but they're not that appealing. You don't want to spend too much money. You have to pay other players that are more valuable on your team right now. So I think they should keep him for the time being and see how things go on. But we just gotta wait and see. Now, as for other press conferences, Pete Carroll, sounds like Pete Carroll is very chill. I mean, some of these press conferences aren't really talked about, like how the Jets was with Aaron Glenn, because Aaron Glenn, it's just something you have to talk about. You know what I mean? But as for the other, let me pull it up. So as for the other football news, some players are thinking about leaning to retire. So cornerback Stephon Gilmore is leaning toward retirement. We have to see for that. Khalil Mack was leaning towards that, but now he's coming back for this season. I didn't even realize Khalil Mack is old. I feel like he was been in the league for 6 years, but I think it's been more like 10. As for other coaches, there were a few hires here and there for coordinator jobs from different organizations. Don't really have to talk about that. It's not that important. I pretty much talked about the more important stuff, what's going on in the NFL. But, let me see. Yeah, there's nothing else for the NFL. Oh, so when the NFC Championship game was over, there was a fan who fell 40 feet from a pole celebrating the team's Super Bowl berth. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was in a coma. Um, Now, how do I feel about this? I get it. You celebrate. You love your team. Trust me, the Jets won. I think I will go all out, but not like that. Not like that. Um, 40 feet from the air, at least do a few feet. You can just pull a hammy or something. But 40 feet in the air, they should have at least put some like slippery stuff on the pole. But I feel like the people who do that, they shouldn't be doing that. Like like they say, do blank stuff, win blank prizes. I'm not gonna say it, but as you know, um, they shouldn't be doing that. I would not do that, and I'm like, I wanna be be rude, but like, come on, man, come on, grow up. Don't do that. Like, don't do that stuff. Do something that's like minor, like stand on top of a car. Do that. Don't go on a pole and 40 feet in the air. That's crazy. But R.I.P. to the guy. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do about that? But yeah, that's it for the NFL. Off season is gonna come right after the Super Bowl. Super Bowl taking place in Louisiana. So let me know in the comments, guys. Are you gonna watch this or what? I might not, to be honest. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I might have to because I'm doing it for the podcast, so I might have to. But let's go to check MLB fast. Not that much stuff going on. As you know, P. Alonso is still trying to get signed. It's not like the Blue Jays and what's the other team? I think some other team and the Blue Jays were thinking about getting Alonso, but I think Alonso checked the prices and he was not happy. But he really wants to be back with the New York Mets. So it sounds like he might be coming back to the Mets. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for the MLB. Like I said, there's certain signings, but like I say always in every podcast, we talk about specific signings that we should be talking about that are important. As for the NBA, you guys know what's going on in the NBA for sure. So the NBA, Jimmy Butler and Jimmy Butler and Fox are both wanting a trade. Well, Fox not really wants a trade. I mean, it sounds like he wants a trade, but the Kings want to trade him away. I don't know what's the deal for that, but as you go, Jimmy Butler wants to trade out Miami already. He got suspended again. They wouldn't really explain a whole lot about the suspension, but he's suspended for now. They're not sure how long that's gonna be, and it sounds like teams are willing to trade with Miami now because it sounds like the price of Jimmy Butler trade talk is much lower than it was before because Miami getting fed up with Jimmy Butler. How do I feel about this? I feel like Miami should just trade him away. I think I said this last time in the podcast. They need to trade him away, ruining the chemistry of the team. You gotta let the young players, play. Let them, not worry about Jimmy Butler. Let them play because when they're playing, they do well. So the teams I just did again is the Golden State Warriors are back into the mix. Suns. I don't know who else. I think it's one or two other teams, it sounds like, but not entirely. But it sounds like the Warriors and the Suns are two of the main teams. Maybe Houston again. I'm not really sure if they're back into the mix. Not sure. But, like I said, Miami should trade him already. Stop this nonsense. Pat Riley, just trade him. Either you trade him for picks and a young player, or trade him for nothing. Now, as for Fox, I was shocked about this because Fox been with the Sacramento Kings for so many years. I think for 8 years. You would think he'd be in the organization for the rest of his career. I guess not. I don't think the Kings feel like he's that guy, but it's really interesting because why trade you guys that's been with you for 8 years, you know? But the Kings are open to trading him, and the preferred destination for Fox is San Antonio and Miami. Now, for San Antonio, I see it. I see it because the Kings, they use too much uh, for his minutes for Fox. They've given 30 plus minutes a night for Fox. Fox don't want to do that. He wants to do more like 25 to close to 30 range. And San Antonio, they do that. They have older players, maybe either mid, late 20s minutes. And him and Victor, ooh, that'd be good. That'd be a good dynamic duo, bro. That would. That would. Now, what San Antonio can give up to the Kings is a player for sure. I'm not sure which player they would give up, but either a player and 3, maybe 4 draft picks. They may just have to put 2 players and 3 draft picks. Who knows? But I think this would be a perfect move for Fox. Fox wants to go there. I think it's a good move for match made in heaven. Now, as for Miami, I don't think Miami's going to do that. I don't think so. They have a lot of young players. They want to, use them. They could try and trade Jimmy Butler over there, but that's not going to happen. You have DeMar DeRozan. Yes, the bonus. 2 of those positions are pretty much filled. Well, DeRozan's spot. But Miami can't really give up a whole lot. They can maybe try like Duncan and a young player, but I don't think that's a good move. But I think Fox going to the Spurs, a really good move for sure. Kind of like what other teams would think Fox would be good at. I think those are the 2 teams that literally need Fox. Other teams, they don't really need him because they're already filled in those positions. Yeah. But that's it for the NBA. Let me see if I can find anything else for the NBA. My nose so itchy. As for yeah, for everything else, there's a couple of stuff going on. Oh, don't get me started with this. As you know, the NBA All-Star is here. I don't know if I talked about this. I don't think I did. Was it 6 days ago? 6 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no, then I didn't talk about this, did I? I think I didn't. Alright, we'll talk about it again. I don't think I said this, but NBA All-Star game is coming up. They already have their lineups. Eastern Conference All-Stars. Oh, I think we did. Jalen Brunson, Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Karl-Anthony Towns. West, they have Stephen Curry, Shai, Kevin Durant, LeBron, and the Joker. Yeah, but that's your All-Star. I think we talked about that already. Yeah, we did. As for the dunk contest, okay. As you know, the 2 players dunk contest, ridiculous. Could have put Aaron Gordon or Zach LaVine in it, but no. As for the 3-point contest, they add my bad, not 3 points. For the dunk contest, they add Mac McClung. As you know, he won an All-Star dunk contest, I think once, if I'm correct, but his 3rd time doing this. I don't know about these dunk contests, man. I'm not watching it at all. But yeah, those dunk contests right now is so bad. Like they should put the actual All-Stars in it. Nobody wants to watch these guys who don't even know about, So yeah, that's it for the NBA. Toward the All-Star week, we'll talk about past We'll talk about the lineup, the standings. Not every week we'll talk about the standings because it's kind of silly. It's not like the NFL. We gotta talk about it every week because once a week. This is more like 1 inch move down in the standings, kind of weird. Uh, but yeah, that's it for the NBA. Let me see. Let me check anything else that happened. Any other sports? Let's see. Luka is still not back. We're not sure when he's gonna come back. Oh, Jalen Johnson out for the season. Um, these players are getting injured so easily. It's crazy, bro. It really is. So Jalen Johnson, let me check what injury it was. So Jalen Johnson he had a torn labrum. So he suffered a torn labrum in his left shoulder. He was averaging career high in points per game 18.9, rebounds per game 10.0, and assists 5.0. This is a big blow for Atlanta. This is not good. They were going to maybe be a playoff team, but it sounds like without him, it's going to be much more of a struggle. Now, who's going to fill in for Jalen Johnson? I feel like it's going to be Bogan or Hunter, but Hunter's a different position, I'm guessing. Or maybe the other backups. Maybe the Hawks will trade before the trade deadline. I'm not sure they will, but this is really bad. It's really bad for the Hawks. By the way, Reggie Miller has finalized a deal with NBC to be a lead color commentator for the 2025-2026 NBA season and beyond. Nice. Congrats to Reggie Miller for getting that done. Oh, Anthony Davis will be revalidate. Anthony Davis will be checked on 1 week after an MRI confirmed an abdominal muscle strain. So prayers up to AD. We're hoping that he come back soon. We're not sure when. But yeah, that's it for the NBA. Joel Embiid still out. And yeah, that's it. Now, let's talk about the whole government thing. So, as you guys know, I'm not the type of person who wants to talk about the government stuff that often. I try to talk if it has to be talked about. I don't push the stuff on people because everyone has their own opinion. It is what it is. But I see the fact that Donald Trump is doing a lot of good things. I wasn't a fan of Trump a year when he came into office. I wasn't. And then he started to do a lot of good things. And I saw how, Biden was doing his thing. It was not good. So, I'm kind of rooting for Trump right now. The reason why is this. He's been doing so many good things right now. Like, when he first got to office, he did maybe one or two things. Biden did one thing when he got into office. Now he got done like 26 things. The first day he got in office. Wild. Alright, so let's talk about the whole illegal immigrant getting deported back to the country. So ICE going to each and every city that are sanctuary. So Chicago, LA, Denver, New York, which will be starting to go to New York today. Yesterday actually. They came to New York yesterday. And they already, the first day, they got rid of 465 known criminals. Now, most people are going to be like, alright, they're going after everyone, people who are family, each other. No. I've done a lot of research. I looked up a lot of things. You know how the media is. They tend to, go certain directions. They're going after the worst of the worst. So the ones who are, doing the bad stuff. I'm not going to say it because it's YouTube. But you're doing really, really bad crimes. And when they do that, it's helping not only your neighbors, but the community, the city around you. And they're doing a really good job. I think yesterday they got over a thousand criminals off the street. They were in the Bronx, I think in 130th Street or 24th Street, something like that. It was somewhere in the Bronx that they went to, and they took out one of the known leaders of the cartels. Props for the ICE and the other agents and all to, doing their job. People in that building were really scared. They couldn't walk down the street. They had kids in the building. And I'm really happy that they took those criminals out of the city. Because we cannot have these criminals in this, in this, country, man. It's not good. And I just don't get the fact that, like, the Chicago mayor and other mayors and all other governors and other states are saying, "Don't touch them. We're gonna root for them." It's like, what? Why? They're like touching kids and women and like what? Like I bet you if they came after you, it would be a different story. You know what I mean? Then you want, it just doesn't make any sense. This world is so evil, and you trying to bring the evilness to our country. That's not it's not good. But ICE and all are doing such a good job right now. It's a bunch of task forces. I don't know, 3 or 4 different task forces are doing a lot right now, going to so many cities. They're going to be adding more agents to pretty much, I think it sounds like about 800 to 1,000 a day, so that they can get every single bad criminal out of the country. It sounds like there's over 700,000 criminals in this country. Now, as for the other people that are not criminals, it sounds like they're going to be dealt with later on, but not as severe. So Trump wants them to, pay their taxes, be a citizen, but get that done right then and there. He's not kicking them out like, leave now, but he says he's going to want them to become a U.S. citizen. So you can stay here, but you need to become a citizen. And the only time you're going to kick them out if they're with the criminals, or they are not going to actually become a citizen. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. And for the media who's trying to put the wrongs about him, stop. Like, do your research. For the people who are trying to think he's such a bad person, he's a racist, he's this and that, stop. Do your research. I thought he was a racist too, until I started doing so many research. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's honestly not that bad of a guy. He has a big mouth. He needs to watch how he says it. But he's not that bad of a guy. You just gotta, see what he's been doing, what he wants to do. And, yeah, just let the guy do what he gotta do. But I'm not saying he'll be perfect the whole 4 years of being president. He's gonna make some mistakes. But, he's gonna help our country. I know that. But for the whole illegal immigrant thing, yeah, guys, that's it for that. But I do hope the people who are here to do a better life for their family and for themselves, to actually become a citizen and just do that paperwork. That's simple. That's simple. We're all welcoming you. We're all welcome for you guys to come in and be a citizen here. But just don't scam the system. Don't try to, get around everything like a sketchy way. Just come here and do the right thing. Now, as for the part on when they're deporting the immigrants back to their country or other countries, the whole different ballgame. So, Trump had a kind of a little bit of argument with the Mexico president. She did not want the illegals to come into her country. Trump wanted to send Haitian, uh, people from the Middle East, um, Chinese people back to Mexico because he was saying they walked through there in order to get to our country. And the Mexico president's like, no, we'll take our Mexicans, but we're not taking, you know, the other countries, citizens. That I can kind of agree, but then in a way they did walk through your country. But um, mm, I'm not sure what to say about that. It's kind of like, whatever. Whatever can go both ways. I'm not gonna get into that. Now, as for one other country, I don't know which country it was. I think it's Venezuela, whatever. But pretty much the president did not want their citizens to come back. He said, no, we're not gonna tell them to come back, and it's pretty much the criminals. And Trump told them, hey, if you don't take them back, we're gonna have a huge tariff, and you're gonna have a hard time trying to run your country. As soon as Trump said that, the plane that was going there turned back around to the destination that they were supposed to go to. Because the president in that country did not want to, have that huge tariff over the country. He's like, oh, welcoming my citizen here, come back. Oh, we're happy you're back. Dude, the only reason why you did that is because you didn't want to have the tariff. Like, what? Like, what? That's so messed up. Because of money, you won't let your... What? That's wild. But if you guys don't know what tariffs is, it's pretty much like taxes. Like, I like taxes. So, taxes, like huge taxes. So when you buy stuff from another country or you want to sell stuff or whatever it is, the taxes are really, really big. Like, I'm not sure how big it was, but it would have been really, really big. But yeah, that was crazy. I was like, dang. And he told every other country, like, if you don't want your citizens to come back, we're gonna tariff, the hell out of you. And it seemed like everyone's pretty open about it. Some countries are like, all right, you can bring the other citizens that are not from our country over, and you can just pay us for the amount that they are staying in our prison. U.S. is like, all right, cool. Because little to no money, And yeah, it's very interesting that Trump's doing all this right now. As for the whole ICE going to the school, that was not the case. It sounds like, at first, I thought that was legit. I was like, well, that's messed up. And I'm like, wait, ICE doesn't operate like that. They're going after the worst for the worst. And why were they going to an elementary school for a kid? So, it sounded like maybe someone pretending they were ICE to make ICE look bad. But that's not the case. Because if that was the case, that would have been a bigger news, in the world. Now, as for whatchamacallit, I'm trying to think. As for everything else, the JFK, Martin Luther King, and RFK files, he signed that when he got into office. And this is going to expose a lot of the corruption with the FBI, with the CIA back in the day. I'm not sure who was the big guy, the big kahuna top that was in charge of all this. I think it might be the FBI. Who knows? But it's going to expose what happened to those three iconic people in our country. People already know what happened. Like, everyone knows that the mobs were kind of connected, or everyone knew that, this guy was connected to this guy and he showed up at this time. Yeah, but it was just little pieces. And there's going to be way more, stuff into it. And I'm kind of like, I want to say excited, but I'm very, eager to hear of how it happened, because I was a fan of Martin Luther King. I know I wasn't alive, but I've been a fan of Martin Luther King for however long I was alive, because he wanted to get the country together. He wanted to know that, hey, you're a different race, you're a different color, but we love you. Let's be friends, And I really want to know what really makes someone want to hurt Martin Luther King. It's not like he's trying to do something bad, or like, he was trying to get everyone to unite with one another, no matter who they are, and be kind to one another. And he had peaceful protests. Like, who wants to hurt Martin Luther King? Like, you must be sick in the head if you want to hurt him. But yeah, I really want to know more about that. But also the RFK. I don't know really a whole lot about RFK, how he passed away. But I want to learn more about that. As for the JFK one, we kind of know what happened. It's not like the mob was connected to it, because, well, actually, I think the RFK 2 was connected to the mob. I heard about that a little bit too. So the RFK and the JFK one, it sounded like both of them were connected with the whole mob, the mafia, and it sounded like they must have somehow did something behind their back, and the mob was pissed off about it. So maybe that's how he passed. But that sounds like that what really happened. But who knows? We're going to look into more detail about that. That's why Trump signed that order to see and open the file up. Let's not hide this anymore. And yeah, let's just see what happens, man. Some close family members of JFK, like his son, his son RFK. I forgot his son, JFK's son, and their family members. They really want to know, you know, did the government really do this? Who did this? And I think it's gonna help them a lot with closure, especially the sons, because that's their dad. Uh, yeah, I mean, ooh, it's interesting. When I was a kid, we never ever heard this stuff. Like, never heard how corrupt the government was. I think it's because social media was not big back in the day, and people didn't have that much open of connecting to what actually was going on. Yes, there was certain stuff here and there, but um, not entirely, not entirely. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just really crazy how life changes over time, and you see, as you get older, people like really want to know what really happened to certain situations. But yeah, we just gotta wait and see. We're not sure how long that's gonna take though. It might take a few months, it might take a year, but it's definitely gonna be open sometime soon. I feel like it might be sooner, like less than a year. I don't think they're gonna wait that long. But that's not the most important thing to focusing right now. Now, as for the inflation, people gotta realize this. Stop complaining about the inflation right now. Trump literally just got in office like a week, 2 weeks ago. It's not gonna happen that fast. Even his right hand man, he said it's gonna take a little while. You just gotta wait, because 4 years of Biden, it's gonna take a little while for us to get the inflation down. And what's even more crazy is that I was wondering why the eggs were $7. And I was looking more into it. I was hearing from so many sources that the reason why the eggs were so expensive now is because Biden wanted to get rid of 1 million chickens. 1 million chickens. 1 million chickens for what? What, a zombie apocalypse on those chickens or something? Like, huh? So that's why there's inflation of those chickens, because 1 million of those aren't there. So it's going to be much harder for you to produce those eggs out as fast as what you would have done before. Yeah, that was very interesting. I saw that. I'm like, what? Chicken? Wow. Um, Yeah, it was just very, very, very interesting how I saw that. And yeah, guys, that's it for the government stuff going on right now. As for everyday life, let's talk about before we wrap it up. Hmm, let's talk about the younger generation. Let's talk about how we can uplift them, how we can motivate them, how uh, we can, you know, teach them rights and wrongs. So as you know, New York City, a lot of kids they go top the subways and they stand on it just for social media, just to be cool, whatnot, and then they pass away. Then you have other ones who, you know, do even more crimes, which is something that you don't want. Now you're gonna say this. Well, when you were younger, you done this as well, or when you were younger, you saw this too. Yeah, I've saw some teens do certain stuff like this, but not to the extent. Like you saw a good handful of them, but not at this level of magnitude. No. But that's why we need mentors at the YMCA, your neighbors, friends, family friends. We need to mentor these kids to do the rights and to just be good people. Don't do silly stuff. Be professional. Um, like some people don't have a role model. I didn't have a role model when I was growing up. Really, like I had a certain role models from my family, friends that I was pretty close with, but my dad wasn't close to me that much. My dad was always working. My parents got divorced, but my mom tried to be uh, a father and a mother figure at the same time. Family, friends, yeah, you know, their father would help here and there, but not at the level as a father should be. But that's why we need male role models or even female role models to help the younger generation. Um, it's rough. It's a much different time now too. Like social media is totally different. It's like you have to watch what you do, what you say, all the stuff. And kids are much more precious. Well, kids are much more impressionable. Is that right? So what I mean by is that they are they get drawn into doing stuff much more easily, much more quick because of social media. And that's why a lot of people need to be hands on with these kids every single day. When I was younger, it was like once a week, once every other week, or like maybe at maybe every other day or here and there. Like let's talk about doing the right thing and all this stuff. Now you need to do this every single day, you know. But yeah, guys, I can't think of anything else right now. Uh, yeah, that's a pretty short podcast today. I feel like only 53 minutes. Like always, like, comment, subscribe. We got more on the way. Sport, lifestyle, government, but not as much. I try to stay on top of that. I try to stay off of that, but it is what it is. I'm not sure when my co-host Meech is gonna come on. No idea. And yeah, guys, I'll be by myself for now. So peace.